Good evening, everyone, and welcome in to a rare evening live stream. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, and welcome in. Let's see who we have here in the chat. Frauditors are not journalists. Good to see you. Hey, APK, Ziggy for the Facts, Jack Gunner. Hey, Ben Darlin. And Chris, welcome in. Hey, Erica, great to see you. Sean Stevenson, always great to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Bruce Davis, Greg Jonick. Hey, JP Meyer, and thank you for being a member now for 8 months. Thank you for your support. And who else do we have here? Hey, Casey. JP Meyer, indeed it is. It is the most wonderful time of the year. Hey, Joy Brawler, Brutal Bob. Yes, Roseanne, it is indeed true. And thank you, Sean Stevenson, for being a member for 9 months. Best way to spend the drive home, laughing at Chille. Thank you for your support, my friend. Hey, Colt Stonewall, thank you for renewing your membership. So, the news has spread like wildfire, but in case you haven't heard yet, Chille DeCastro, also known as Delete Laws, was in court today, finally, for his trial for an incident that happened last year, and he ended up getting sentenced to 180 days in jail. The channel Our Nevada Judges is going to be premiering today's court video at 8:30, so about 6 minutes from now. 5 minutes from now, 6 minutes. So while we wait for their video to start premiering, I thought it would be fun to take a look at the incident that led up to today. So let me bring up this video that I made about a year ago. If I can find the right link. Let's see. Where is that link? Of course, so uncoordinated. There it is. So this is the incident that we're about to watch, the reason why he got sentenced to 180 days in jail today. Hey, PJC, great to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Let's roll the video. Then after this, the court video should have started premiering on the channel Our Nevada Judges. So after this, we'll jump into that. The court appearance from today. Let's roll the video.
You good? Why'd they say that you were pulled over?
Before he releases.
Oh, I see.
Like, what a terrible.
Also, just want to say, since today causes for celebration, I am enjoying an ice cold twisted tea. Just my personal beer of choice.
Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha.
You can film me. You need to stay away from my driver. Back up. Back up, I'm going to detain you.
You're going to detain me how? In which way?
Get away from my car.
Actually, I'm standing right here. I'm at least 10 feet away, officer. I got to tell you, I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can do whatever you want, but just understand something. Your name will go on the lawsuit.
All right, two things. First off, as we all know, Chille is not a constitutional law scholar, and the cop is not afraid of your lawsuit. Freaking so ridiculous.
Mind your own fucking business.
Hey, Chille, you're being detained for disrupting an investigation.
If you were really a constitutional law scholar, you would know that.
Mind your own fucking business. Mind your own business. I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy. Go.
No, you are not a member of the freaking press. Just because you have a YouTube channel, that doesn't mean you're the press. Like, really, this has already been ruled upon.
See her.
Having a YouTube channel doesn't make you a member of the press. Hell, anyone can create a YouTube channel.
Okay, then.
Well said, Passmark.
Oh, she's free. Oh, you're gonna detain a journalist?
Yes.
2015, Rodriguez.
Over my car.
Don't put your hands on me.
Come over.
Don't touch me. Don't put your fucking hands on me. No, you're not. I gotta make sure. Hey guys, make sure you guys get my people on the phone. Oh, this is so you ended the stop, you dunce cap. Did you just end the stop? So that's
Yes.
a 2015.
Come over here to my car.
No.
Come over here.
No.
Need an additional unit.
Bring your supervisor, please. Bring your supervisor, please. Don't touch
over
me.
to the car.
You don't get to put your hands on me. Don't grab me. Don't grab me. You're not. First get your supervisor out here.
Chille, what you don't understand is the officer isn't required to get a supervisor. At this point, you're under arrest. If you really want to speak to the supervisor, you can speak to the supervisor at jail.
You're not just going to grab me and throw me on the ground.
Yes, Colt, Chille did call the cop a doggy because he has no respect for law enforcement whatsoever. I mean, hell, just look at his channel name, Delete Laws. Thank you, Casey, for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for your support, my friend, and welcome to the new members. Let's see, Bruce Davis, Greg, Elon Musk, Bruce Buss, welcome. And thank you for your support as always. Now, let's see.
You've already released her. You've already released her. This is 2015, Rodriguez versus United States. I'll walk right in front of your car. Let's go. Sure, come on.
You need to set the phone
There you
down.
go. No. I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can't take away my
Set the phone down on the hood.
I'm now.
You're being detained. Now you're going to put hands on me.
No.
Come over here.
Why are you grabbing me?
Come over here.
Sure.
Over here.
Let the phone roll.
I don't care about the phone.
Why are you grabbing me?
Turn around.
I'm a member of the press.
Turn around.
I'm not doing anything.
You're being detained.
I'm not.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically, he was a real member of the press. Even if you were a member of the press, that doesn't give you the right to break the law. The press still has to follow laws. That's not some special get out of jail free card.
Doing
Turn
it.
around. Stop.
Are your cameras on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, then
Put
don't
your hands
put me
behind
in.
your back.
No.
You're going in handcuffs.
Why?
Put your hands behind your back.
Can we slow down? Get supervisor. I haven't done anything wrong.
Put your hands
I
behind your
haven't
back.
done anything wrong.
Don't make
If
me
you want to detain me, then detain
I am
me.
putting you in
Hey,
handcuffs.
Edward, great to see you.
Facing the hood.
I'm
Turn around. It's not policy to put it behind. It has to be behind your back. Right now, you're going to get a ticket. If you do not put your hands behind your back, you're going to jail. Put your hands behind your back. Do it now. No, I don't know if you have any weapons.
I'm a journalist.
If you were really a news journalist, then you would know that news journalists aren't the news. They report the news. They aren't part of it. As always, I would like to give a big shout out and
Oh boy, Chille. He will just never learn. Boy. And yes, JP Meyer, it does indeed. Well, at least it feels like Christmas. Boy, what a total jackass that guy is. So, this video should be starting up here from our Nevada judges. Just waiting for it to start up and then we will jump right into it. But boy, he definitely got what was coming to him today. Very nice, Edward. Level 126 in Starfield. Nice. So it looks like now the premiere is running late because I'm on the premiere page and it still hasn't started. Gotta love live content. But in the meantime, we could watch his latest arrest video in the meantime. But we'll just give this another minute or so to see if this starts up. Thank you, Rockhopper392, for the 199 super chat. Report the news, not be part of it. Exactly. And thank you again for your support. Wow, this premiere still has not started on the Our Nevada Judges channel. Let me just check something here. Premieres usually never start late. Guess we've broken the internet. But in the meantime, we can watch his latest arrest video, though. So we can pull that up for now. Alright, let's see. Share screen. Alright, so while we still continue to wait for the court video, we will take a look at Chille's latest arrest video, where he decides to involve himself in something that's none of his business once again, and he gets arrested.
I was heading to the gym and I saw something down here open up for me, and I just wanted to begin filming here as quickly as possible.
Hey, Joseph, great to see you.
Got a perimeter here created.
So yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the Our Nevada Judges channel, and they said that their video is basically kind of stuck right now at 99%. But as soon as that video starts, we will go right to it. And thank you, Son of the Great, for the $5 super chat. Chille looking like Johnny Cash if he stopped acting and fighting in Mortal Kombat to become a frauditor. I agree. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there ought to be laws against holding your phone while driving. Here in Massachusetts, it's illegal. If you're using your phone for anything, at least here in Massachusetts, it has to be hands-free. Like, he's being an idiot by driving while using his phone to record.
All right. You know what's going on?
And one thing I'll never understand about Chille is why the hell does his face always need to be on camera? It's like he is so self-centered in himself. It's a strange obsession.
Hey, once you pass this brick wall, just cut through the parking lot. Thank you.
Oh, I know, Cold Stone Wolf. I feel bad for whoever gets stuck sharing a cell with him. That's just cruel and unusual punishment right there.
Hello, sir.
Hello's for suckers.
Can we help you, sir? Can we help you?
You could just do your job, mind your own business. That's what you could do.
Excuse me?
I told you, I'm saying it again, you could mind your own business. I'm doing my job. I appreciate your time. But just, if I was you, I'd just shut your mouth so I don't put you in your place. That's what I'd do if I was you. I'd shut up if I was you. Unless you want to look like an idiot on YouTube.
We're still pretty close to the road, so let's push this out a little bit further.
If you
Yeah.
just keep going that way for me, I'm okay if you video
No, no.
him, but video over there for
Don't
me,
tell
okay?
me where to stand. I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm suing you guys for $5 million. I'll sue you for $5 million more. You don't have a
Okay,
right
I'm
to
not-
tell me
I'm-
what to do.
I'm just asking.
Hey, Emily M. It's great to see you. It's been a while. Yes, this also took place in Nevada, and he has an upcoming case for this as well. That supposedly he's going to represent himself in. Boy, still waiting on this damn video from the Our Nevada Judges channel. As soon as it goes up, we'll jump right to it. Appears YouTube is being stupid today, though.
Shut
Stand
your
over there.
piggish
We're
mouth.
still doing
And
it.
don't
the crime
approach
scene
me.
tape?
Shut your mouth.
Sir, do you see the crime
Shut
scene
your
tape
mouth
over there?
and shut your mouth.
You see
I'm
the
your
tape?
boss.
You see the tape
You
over there?
understand that?
Let's
Shut
go
your
back
mouth.
over
I'm
there.
walking down the street. Mind your own business.
No,
I'm just standing here.
this is-
If you hadn't
I'm
approached
the
me,
sergeant.
don't come behind me, piggy. Okay. If you hadn't approached me, I don't give a damn what you are. You're not a sergeant. Shut your mouth. I'm here doing my job. I'm a member of the press. I invoke my First Amendment right.
Okay.
Now, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, so don't ask me another question. Take 3 steps back, gentlemen. I'm not your suspect. Take 3 steps back from me.
Okay, so there's
I'll be right back, but I'll keep the video playing in the meantime.
crime scene.
Take
over
3
there,
steps
and
back
you're
from
standing
me.
in a crime scene now,
I'm
so you
walking
need to
down the
leave.
street. I can walk
Okay.
anywhere I want. There's not crime
This is
scene
the
right
crime
here.
scene.
The crime tape would be over here then, wouldn't it, dunce cap? I
Sir,
get you didn't graduate from high
there's
school,
crime
did you?
scene tape right there, okay?
We're just asking you to
I don't
step
give a
over
rat's
there.
ass what you say. Do you understand that?
Sir,
I don't
you
care
don't have
what
to
you
make
say.
this
I'm not
difficult,
breaking
sir.
any laws. Make it difficult. If you'd
Where-
mind your own damn business, we wouldn't be talking right now. If you hadn't opened your mouth, I wouldn't be talking to you.
I'm asking
just
what you're
filming
doing,
this.
and you're okay to film.
I'm a member of
I'm
the
just
press. I
asking you to
told
film
you I
over
invoke
there.
my Fifth Amendment right. You have a
your-
right to
you
ask me
have-
questions.
You have your.
I got the
you have
First
your
Amendment.
press
What are the
documents.
first 5 big freedoms of the
Where are
First
your press
Amendment?
You have your press
I'm a
documents, sir.
constitutional law scholar, you dunce cap. What's it like to
Sir,
be so stupid?
There's
I wonder
crime
what that's
scene
like.
tape right there.
What's
and
it
that's
like
where
to
you
be a
need go.
moron?
You walk
What's it like to
underneath-
not know our
sir,
rights?
You walk underneath
Correct
the crime
him.
scene tape already, sir.
Hey, correct him, sir. Correct this man. Explain to him
All right.
that he doesn't have a
This is
right.
your
Don't
Sir,
put your hands on
You've
me.
already walked
Are
across
you
the
gonna run
crime
over and
scene
grab
tape.
me? Are you gonna run over and grab me? Are you gonna run over?
Sir,
I'm walking down the street,
Keep
gentlemen.
walking,
I have a
man.
right to film this.
Keep
You
walking.
understand that?
I understand.
I have a right to
I'm
film
asking
this.
you to
If you
film
touch
over
me,
there.
I will sue you. I
You're
sue
more
the
than
You walked
cops
crime
every
scene tape
time.
already, sir.
I was walking down the street. I have a right to do so.
Okay, but we
There's
are
crime
telling
scene
you
tape.
that you need to
Your cop
continue
told me to
walking.
walk over here. I have it on video.
Okay, and I understand that.
You're confronting me when you should be working on your
If you-
job.
if you
Why don't you
stop- let
shut
me-
your mouth and
let
step
me
away
talk
from
to
me?
you.
I'm just filming.
Let me talk to you, all right?
Who's the
let me-
commanding officer?
I am.
Okay, then step back from me and leave me alone. I'll stop
No.
talking to you and I'll keep walking that
You
way.
Keep walking.
Then go that way. Get out of my face.
No, I will stand right here. You
Thank you, PJC, for being a member now for 9 months. Appreciate your support, my friend.
can keep walking.
You're not my boss, bro. I'm yours. You understand that? I make the rules.
I gave you a lawful
I'm
order.
your
You need
boss.
to keep walking.
I
If
am
you
walking.
do not, then you will
I'm
be
kidding.
arrested
What's
for
your name?
obstruction.
What's your name and badge
I'm
number?
Sergeant Hutchinson.
Okay, what's your name and badge number?
Bruin 17149.
What's your name and badge number? Okay, what's your name and badge?
But the video is up. Just check, the video appears to be up. So here's the question to the chat. Do you want to finish this video or should we jump to the court video? I mean, how long is this? There's only 3 minutes left in this video, so we could finish it.
All right.
And
If you would just do your job, if you would just do your, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I have it on video.
I'm asking you
It's-
to continue walking.
It's recorded. It's recorded. I'm not going.
You know, let's just skip to the good part here in this video.
Go to the crime scene tape, sir.
Don't tell me what to do.
Please go that way.
Don't tell me what to do.
Then let's just
You're
start
not my
walking.
boss.
I'm giving you a lawful order. Let's start walking now. Let's go.
Hey,
We're
Jim
going
C.
this
Are
way.
you gonna put your hands on me now? Leave me the
You
fuck
don't-
alone.
listen,
Come on,
sir,
go
we
this
don't-
way.
Well, don't touch me, dude.
I'm just
I'm just standing here.
escorting you
I'm
to
just
where you
standing.
need to go.
Are you guys gonna surround me? Leave me alone.
I'm escorting you to where
There's
you
no
need
reason
to
to
go.
do this. I'm not trying to fight anybody.
I'm
There's
not
no
saying you're
victim
trying to
here.
fight.
There's no crime. You're just trying to dominate another
Let's do
person.
the- go to
Just
the crime
leave
scene
me
tape, sir.
alone. Okay, I can leave, but you don't have to walk up on
then
me.
let's go. You
sir.
haven't
So
left
what's
yet.
the emergency? This cat.
Let's go, sir.
You're on camera
Crime scene
acting
tape
like
right
a
here, sir. Let's
moron,
go.
bro.
Come on, sir.
No, look at this. I got 1, 2,
No, we're
3, 4
escorting
cops.
to make sure
For
you
what?
leave
What
the
good's it doing?
area.
What good's it doing?
Just go on
You
the
don't
other
need
side
to
of the
escort me.
crosswalk.
Go back to where
You
you're
still haven't
going.
left
I'm
yet.
walking. I'm walking right now.
Now let's
Oh,
go.
now you're threatening me with violence. Now this guy's threatening me with violence.
Come on, let's
Let's
walk.
go, sir.
Now they're pushing me. Look at their hands all over me. Look at that. Look at that.
You're right.
All-
We're escorting you. sir.
Don't fucking touch me, boys.
Let's go.
Don't.
Put your
What are you?
We're not going to hurt you. Don't pull away. Don't pull away. We want to kill you guys. You got 30 fucking warnings. You got to double.
And that, my friends, is called effing around and finding out.
You have to double call them. Wait, you guys, I'm seeing you guys. Your hands are open. Look, come right here. Look at my thumb. Put my hands down. That's right. I'm not going to hurt you. That's against our policy. Look at my thumb. It's broken. Right, you're putting 2 handcuffs on you. And why are you cuffing me at all? I'm bleeding. There's no reason to tackle me and put your hands on me. We did not tackle you. Okay. We grab my phone. Yes, sir. We'll grab them. Okay.
Gotta love it when idiots get arrested. And now, without further ado, at last, the video we've all been waiting for. And again, huge shout out to the channel Our Nevada Judges for providing this video. Their channel link is pinned in the chat. And you know what? Let's see if we can just get this a little higher quality. All right. And unfortunately, closed caption is not available for this video yet, so I do apologize. But here we go. The state of Nevada versus Jose Chille DeCastro, March 19, 2024.
I call Jose DeCastro.
Five.
I haven't heard all your places yet. Okay.
Good morning, Agnes Botello for the state.
Are you Mr. DeCastro? Can you turn off your phone, please? The one that's in your hand?
Just communicating with my lawyer. He's on his way here now. I'm just waiting for him to get there.
All right, I'm gonna wait for your attorney, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All right, Jose DeCastro, 23 CR 013015.
Good morning, Your Honor, Agnes Botello, is indicated for the record. Good morning, the state.
Good morning, Mike. Me on behalf of the defendant present with me this morning.
So I have signed 2 media requests that permit recording or photographing these proceedings, but I have not granted any other requests to record or live stream these proceedings. So I need Mr. DeCastro and everybody else who wants to stay in the courtroom to surrender their phones, or you can leave.
Are your phone helping and I'll take one for you.
I need Mr. DeCastro to empty all of his pockets.
What's that?
Empty
Empty
your
your
pockets.
pockets and give up your phones to the judge.
I have to give you my phones?
Yeah.
My phone's actually completely off.
So far, you can tell this judge is no nonsense, basically making everyone who's not authorized to film turn over their phones. And I've heard from Discord chats that he starts mouthing off at some point about the judge and the bailiff at some point. That is a great question, Casey. Why does Jose need a lawyer if he's such a brilliant constitutional law scholar? Right? He should be able to handle this himself. After all, he knows more than everyone.
I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel. So,
You already are.
great,
You already are.
awesome.
I'm not gonna get into this guy though. I'll get into someone else. I'm
No,
not touching myself.
no, they're gonna go to my marshal.
He's a pig.
Excuse me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay.
That's always a great idea. Before this even begins, he's mouthing off about one of the bailiffs like he's a pig. What a scumbag Chille is.
So I'm not gonna permit you to speak to anybody in my courtroom in that manner. And if you don't want to apologize, I'm gonna hold you in contempt.
I apologize to the court, Your Honor.
No, you can apologize to, they've done nothing to you.
Actually, Your Honor, when you were here, you came over and gave me a directive for no reason and started telling me what to do.
Okay, well,
I have all the respect in the world for the court. I follow the rule of law all the time. I
no,
correct
it
the
is their job to maintain the safety and security of the courtroom.
I agree with you, Your Honor.
So if you want to speak like that in my courtroom, I'm gonna hold you in contempt. And if I hold you in contempt, you're going to jail. That is not my wish. Okay?
I wish you would.
All right. So I need you to empty your pockets too. Suit pocket, pants pocket.
This is illegal. This is a violation of my Fourth Amendment.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. I don't have any recording devices on me. What are you talking about?
How about suit jacket?
I don't have anything on me. This is preposterous.
No, it's
This
not.
really is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Me, your phone too.
They're recording everything.
They have a media request.
Correct, and I'm not recording anything. your guy here took my phone, so his phone's not on it? Make sure it off. You can take the lawyer's phone too?
No, I'm not gonna take the lawyer's phone. He's an officer of the court. All right, do we have everybody's phones? Are they off? All right, good. All right. All right, this is the time set for the trial of State of Nevada versus Jose DeCastro, 23 CR 013015.
Now, quite honestly, I'm just surprised he actually showed up for this. I mean, for months now, he's been delaying, using every excuse in the book to delay this trial we're about to watch. And now his time finally ran out and he couldn't stall anymore.
State ready to proceed.
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
How many witnesses do you have?
We anticipate one.
All right, is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I have your request to convert counsel to standby counsel. I'm going to deny that request. Either you represent him or he should have previously requested a Faretta canvas to represent himself. That I just consider that a delay tactic, so that request is denied. Are you ready to proceed? Otherwise, I'm assuming you are.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, will the state please call the first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Brandon Bork, and he's in the anteroom.
So this is the cop that arrested him in the first video we watched at the start of the stream.
Morning.
You're going to remain standing. Raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please be seated. State your name for the record and spell it first and last name, please.
It's Brandon Bork. Brandon is Brandden. Bork, Bourque.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Sir, how are you employed?
I'm a police officer with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
How long have you been employed with Metro?
Just over 8 years.
What is your, what's your occupation there? Like, where are you assigned?
I currently am a field training officer at Southern Area Command.
Okay. And so are you a patrol officer
Yes, ma'am.
that also trains newer officers?
Yes.
Were you employed with Metro? I'm assuming you are, because you've been employed for 8 years, back on March 15th of 2023.
Yes, I was.
Were you a patrol officer at that time?
Yes, I was.
As a patrol officer, do you wear a uniform?
Yes, I do.
Can you describe the uniform?
It would be the same uniform I'm wearing today.
Okay, and so for the record, you're wearing a tan uniform with the logos, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, located throughout your shirt.
Yes.
Okay. As a patrol officer, do you have access to or utilize a marked patrol vehicle?
Yes.
You know, I was just thinking as I'm listening to this, just for once, I really wish the prosecution would just use Chille's own video against him. I mean, hell, Chille posted it online for the world to see, so they should have the right to use that video against him.
And can you describe what this marked patrol vehicle looks like?
It's black and white in color and it has the LVMPD's logo on all sides.
Okay. And is it also equipped with like lights and sirens?
Yes.
And so you were employed as a patrol officer back on March 15th of 2023.
Yes.
At some point in time, did you conduct a traffic stop while you were working in that capacity
Yes, I did.
on that date?
Yes.
And was that for a vehicle bearing license plate 748Z, like zebra, T like Tom, B like boy?
Yes.
And why did you stop that vehicle?
I had conducted a DMV records check on that license plate and it came back expired and suspended.
And where is it that you stopped that vehicle?
It was 4155 South Grand Canyon, which was their target.
That is a good point,
Is that
Jesse.
over on Flamingo and Grand Canyon?
Yes.
Okay, and that's here in Las Vegas, Clark County, Nevada, sir?
Yes.
And you indicated it was for a license plate that was expired and suspended.
Yes.
So when you initiated the traffic stop, what did you do or how did you do that?
I approached the driver, let her know the reason for the stop, obtained her identifying information, registration, insurance.
Okay, and I forgot to ask you earlier, but pursuant to your uniform and as a patrol officer, are you equipped with a body worn camera?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And do you also have a radio?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And are those items, both the body worn camera and the radio, on your uniform today?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And is that how the body worn camera and or the radio were on your uniform back on March 15th of 2023?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, was your body worn camera functioning at that time?
Yes, it was functioning.
Okay. And so you made contact with the driver of that Hyundai.
Yes, I did.
How would you characterize the nature of your encounter or the nature of your encounter with that driver?
She was cooperative with me. I explained the reason for the stop. She seemed confused, not sure exactly how it had become suspended, but she was friendly and cooperative with me.
Okay, and she identified herself.
She did. She had a picture of her license on her phone.
Okay. And at some point, sir, did you go back to your patrol vehicle to further your investigation?
I did.
And as you were, let me ask you this. When you effectuated the traffic stop on this vehicle, where did you park or stop your vehicle in relation to the Hyundai that you were stopping?
I parked approximately 10, 15 feet behind the stop vehicle. We ended up in a parking lot.
Okay. And was the driver the sole occupant of the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you returned to your patrol vehicle to conduct your further investigation, was the driver within eyesight?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And is it your habit and custom and also your training to keep the individual that you are, dealing with within eyesight?
Yes.
And so at some point while you were still in your vehicle, in your patrol vehicle, did something occur that's causing you to have to testify before Judge Zimmerman today?
Yes, I had an unrelated person come over to start recording the traffic stop.
Okay. And we talked about your body worn camera previously, but did you activate your body worn camera prior to the traffic stop?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Or, just before you initiated the traffic stop?
I initiated the stop and then I immediately activated my camera.
Okay. And how is it that body worn camera is activated on your uniform, sir?
I have a battery pack that's on my belt in the front, and I press the activation button, which is in the front.
Okay. And so is it just a tap of that activation button?
It's a double tap on the front, yes.
Okay. And how is it that you would stop recording?
I would hold down that same power button,
Okay.
or it can be turned off. There's a toggle switch on the top that slides on and off.
Okay. Okay. And so your body worn camera was running as of, the traffic stop being initiated?
Yes.
Okay. And so you described an unrelated individual coming over to, your stop.
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe this individual?
He was a white male adult. He was wearing bright colored hoodie and blue jeans.
Okay. That individual, do you see him here in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you please point to him and describe something he's wearing?
He's wearing a suit and a blue tie.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect identification of the defendant.
So ordered.
And so what do you do upon seeing this individual approach the driver of the vehicle you had stopped?
Initially, when I saw him, he was just recording. I ignored him, continued my records check. Then when he came over to the driver and started speaking to them, I got out of the car, approached the driver and told DeCastro to back up.
Okay. When you first noticed, so you identified the unknown or unrelated male subsequently, correct?
Yes.
And what was his name?
Jose DeCastro?
Okay. And that's the individual you identified here in court?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you first laid eyes on the defendant, approximately how far away was he from the driver of the vehicle in the Hyundai?
Approximately somewhere within 5 to 10 feet.
Okay. And you indicated that he was recording?
Yes.
Okay, what did you see that led you to believe he was recording?
He had his cell phone camera pointed directly at me.
Okay,
Basically, the cop could have said he had his cell phone camera and he was walking around acting like a jackass, yelling that he was a constitutional law scholar and the press.
and so is that when, upon seeing him being that close to the driver, is that when you told him, you walked up to the driver of the stopped vehicle and asked Mr. DeCastro to back up?
Yes, once he started talking with the driver.
Okay. And why is it that you did that, officer?
Well, I can't have unrelated people next to my traffic stops. I don't know if he's a dangerous person, armed. He could be a boyfriend of the stopped person. It's for my safety and the safety of the person I've stopped.
Okay, because you're also in charge of the safety of the individual that this unrelated individual is making contact with. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And so you saw it as an officer safety issue as well as a safety issue for the driver?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you approached, well, you said he was recording, the defendant was recording. At any time, did you tell him to stop recording?
No, in fact, I told him he can continue recording.
Okay. He can continue to record given what?
As long as he backed up and gave me an appropriate distance to work.
Does anyone think he'll learn anything from his jail experience? My bet is no. Hell no, Slide. No doubt. I have a feeling, if anything, he's going to try to do his audit and BS in jail, or also become a jailhouse lawyer trying to misguide other people in jail. Thank you, Casey, for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for your support, my friend, and welcome to the new members. Edward Cavalier, Lindy Pindy, Nightwolf, USA, Abby Paulin. Welcome.
Okay. And so when you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay. And so
Also, not to interrupt too much, but we have 62 viewers, which is great for a live stream. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't. Just helps YouTube, helps recommend the channel to more people, and helps out the algorithm.
So what did you do next?
I gave him 3 additional warnings to back up.
Okay, and did he obey those orders?
No, he did not.
And what, if anything, did you do with the driver of the stopped vehicle, the Hyundai?
Hey, Sherry.
At that point, I chose to release the driver of the Hyundai and then focus my attention on Jose DeCastro.
Okay, and for the record, officer, at that point in time, were you the only uniformed officer, or the only officer present at the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
And so at this point, you were dealing with the stop driver as well as an unrelated individual and having to make contact or maintain visual of both.
Yes.
And at that point, the defendant was not being cooperative.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you release the driver of the Hyundai. What do you tell that person to let her go?
I just said that she was free to go, simply.
And subsequently, did you turn your attention on the defendant?
Yes.
And can you tell Judge Zimmerman the nature of your interaction with the defendant after that?
I ordered DeCastro to the front of my patrol vehicle while pointing at it and told him that he was detained.
Okay. And what was the purpose of detaining him?
For obstructing my initial traffic stop with the Hyundai.
Okay. And did he obey your lawful order?
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate that.
And what happened next?
Hey, Abby.
He continued filming me. I continued pointing toward my patrol vehicle, continued telling him he was detained. All the while, he just continued shifting his body around, recording me on the phone, and refusing to go to the car.
Okay. So what did you do in response?
I used my hand to escort him to the patrol vehicle. So I placed my hand on his shoulder, and at that point, he swatted my hand away.
And what happened next?
That's when I grabbed him by the shirt, and I spun him around, and then we ended up at the front of my patrol vehicle. We were both still standing.
At some point, did you request additional units to respond to the scene?
I did, that was before I grabbed him,
Okay.
when I initially detained him.
Okay. And, I'm sorry, once you had him at your patrol vehicle, or the front, the hood of your patrol vehicle, what happened next?
Officer Dingley, another officer in the area, had.
Hey, Archangel Azazel, great to see you.
Were you successful, or did the defendant cooperate in being handcuffed?
He did not cooperate. I told him 7 times to face my patrol vehicle. He did not listen. I told him 6 times to turn around. He did not listen. It wasn't until I told him that he was going to go to jail, that was the consequence of not listening, that he allowed us to handcuff.
Okay. And after he was handcuffed, well, when he was handcuffed, was it just you and Officer Dingle present?
Yes.
Once he was handcuffed, what, if anything, happened next?
He continued to argue with my partners, Officer Dingley and some other officers that were starting to show up. And then I focused my roles in completing the report and calling the sergeant because he requested a supervisor.
Okay. And at some point, was he arrested for account of obstructing a public officer?
Yes.
And also for resisting a public officer or resisting arrest?
Yes.
And was he, at any point in time during your interaction with him or your continued visual of his interaction with other officers, did he cooperate with any of the officers present at the scene?
No, he kept shifting around, and normally we have people stand still in front of our car, and I could hear him arguing with the other officers.
You indicated you had your body worn camera turned on at this time.
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to look at your body worn camera prior to court today?
Yes, I did.
Hey, Dixo, great to see you, my friend. Live stream after hours. I've missed you all. We've missed you too, my friend. And it is great to see you, and thank you for the $20 super chat. Hey, Elweetskador, great to see you as well. When it gets to the cross exam, this should be interesting.
I were to show you a snippet of it, and Your Honor, we're going to be screen sharing through Zoom. Takes a minute. Okay. Officer, are you able to see, there's not a screen over there, so I might have to bring mine over to you with the court's permission. Okay.
Well, Dixo, if your YouTube lawyer is Chille DeCastro, then the answer is yes.
Okay. Officer, I'm showing you my computer screen. Is it fair to say that what's being shared on the screen as well as what's showing up on my computer screen are 2 files, one labeled 416b.mp4, the other one labeled 468, number sign 1.mp4.
Yes.
Okay. I am just gonna, and for the record, Your Honor, all body worn camera footage have been disclosed to the defense well in advance of today's trial. I'm going to just show you a brief snippet of the one.
I want to say, Jim, that he was charged with disorderly conduct and possibly interfering in an investigation, but I'm not sure about that for 100%. But I know disorderly conduct for sure.
On label 468 underscore number sign 1.mp4, do you recognize what's depicted here?
Yes, this is the initial Hyundai that I had stopped. Was traffic stop.
Okay, and so do you recognize this particular file as the body worn camera of your interaction first with the Hyundai and then for the defendant on March 15th of 2023?
Yes,
Okay, and does this show the time that you activated your camera?
yes,
Okay, similar to what you testified to earlier?
yes.
I forgot his trial is coming up on Friday. That will be interesting to watch as well. Hopefully, it doesn't get delayed or postponed or something like that.
And you've had an opportunity to see this entire 12 and a half minute long video, is that right?
Yes,
Does it fairly and accurately depict the traffic stop and also your interaction with the defendant on the date and time that we've been discussing,
yes,
at the location that we've been discussing?
yes,
Your Honor, I move to admit and subsequently publish the file labeled 468 underscore number sign 1.mp4.
Spence,
No objection.
for the admitted and published.
Thank you. And let me just join up.
very loud.
Why is it that courts always have technical issues? It seems like every trial I watch, these courts have technical issues.
Your Honor, permission to just put it up here. Away from the microphone.
Yeah, I apologize for the noise. That was the court. That wasn't anything on my end. That was the court video itself. Yeah, I know, Cole. Like often when I'm not streaming, on the days I'm not streaming, I'm often watching trials on the Law and Crime channel because they stream some great trials sometimes. And it seems like in almost every single trial, there's always a tech issue. I agree, Jack. So I'm pretty sure the part that's coming up that they're watching here, because I'm pretty sure this is a jury trial as well. At least that's my understanding. So I'm pretty sure they're showing the body cam, and they're about to show the part where Chille comes up and interferes in the stop.
I'm gonna pause it at timestamp 9 minutes and 16 seconds. At this point, officer, do you see the unrelated male that you've been talking about enter camera?
Oh, so it is a bench trial. For some reason, I thought it was a jury trial. My mistake. My apologies.
Yes, I do.
And could you just point to where he is in the video on my screen?
Yes, he's right.
And let the record reflect, he identified a male wearing like a light colored blue jacket towards the middle of the screen. And is this the individual that you have been talking about, the defendant here today?
Yes.
Continue.
Don't engage my driver, back up. Hey, back up. Back up, you're not involved. You can still, but you need to stay away from my driver. Back up. Back up for a minute, please. Get away from my car stop. Okay, listen. She deserves privacy. This is not your business. Okay, you're being detained right now. Come over my car. Come over my car. Come over my car right now. No, come over. Listen, I am gonna put my hands on you. No, you're not. Drop your arm. I gotta make sure that you guys get my people on the phone. I have an obstructive mail here, so no issue. So you can't stop. Come over here to my car. Come over here. I need additional communication. I have this obstructive. No, come over to the car. I'm gonna grab you. You're gonna go to the ground. Listen, you're detained right now. Get your surprise right here. You're not going to get a push right now. I just need additional communication. Come over my car. You're being detained for obstruction. You need to set the phone down on the hood. Set the phone down on the hood.
It always cracks me up when he says that. No, you are not a constitutional law scholar. You're just a jackass who thinks he knows the law, even though you don't.
You're being detained. Now you're gonna put hands on me. Come over here. Come over here. Sure. Come over here. I don't care about the phone. Turn around. Turn around. I'm not doing it. You're being detained right now. Turn around. Get your supervisor. Stop.
officer at 11:38 or just a little bit before, there was another officer that comes onto the screen. Who's that?
This is Officer Dingley.
Why? Put your hand behind your back. I haven't done anything. No, put your hand behind your back. Don't make me use it. If I wanted to see me, then put your hand. I'm putting you in handcuffs. So I'm not putting my hands on my back. Okay, so you gotta put it. I'm put it behind. Don't let it be behind your back. Right now you're gonna get a ticket. For what? If you not put your hands behind your back, you're going to jail. Put your hands behind your back. Can I chew my hand out? No. Can we agree on that? No, I don't know if you have my hands. I don't care how many hands. Stop reaching. There's no weapons on me, guys. Stop reaching. But my name is Lost Caller. You said to stop to. Put your hands behind your back, you're going to jail. I place you in handcuffs right now. For what? Around. For officer safety, right? For officer safety. Is the camera still running, guys? The camera's still running. I'm gonna see your car. I don't care about the camera. Put your hand behind your back. Don't reach this phone.
And that concludes the 12-minute and 31-second video. The video marked 468 _ number sign 1.mp4. Officer, at some point after this interaction that we just saw, did you come to realize that your body worn camera had accidentally or inadvertently turned off?
Yes.
Okay. And at what point in time did it turn off?
It would have turned off at the completion of the video that we just saw. Prior
Prior to what?
to the handcuffing.
Okay. Did you we noticed Officer Dingle show up to the scene though?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know whether he had his body worn camera turned on?
Yes, it was activated.
Okay. And so what would have been missed by the inadvertent turning off of your body worn camera would have been captured on Officer Dingle's body worn camera?
Yes.
Okay. And did I allow you to look at that video footage from Officer Dingle this morning prior to testifying here today?
Yes, you did.
And did you have an opportunity to look at it to determine whether it was in fact the video related to this event?
Yes, I looked at it and it was the video related.
Okay. And so I'm gonna turn your attention now to the video labeled 416B- or .mp4, and I'm just gonna.
It says 4168.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that B or B? I think it's a B, Jim. 416B. About MP4.
Okay.
Or 8. And okay, I just played the first 13 seconds, but actually I'm gonna fast forward. Now, for the record, the video is upside down. It recorded upside down? Yes?
Yes, it did.
All right. Actually,
Why would it record upside down?
Ma'am, there's a setting in the application where you can rotate it. This officer may not have checked that beforehand.
stopping or starting at 4:54, timestamp on the video that we've been talking about. Do you recognize what's depicted, at least in this still portion?
Yes, this is me and DeCastro in front of my patrol vehicle.
Okay, and so to your knowledge, and after having watched this, does this fairly and accurately depict your interaction with the defendant on March 15th of 2023 as caught on camera by Officer Dingley's body worn camera?
Yes.
Move to admit 416 B or 8 MP4.
No objection.
We know if it's an 8 or a B for sure.
It looks like a B too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I lose. All right.
Okay.
416B.MP4 will be admitted and published.
Thank you, and I'm just gonna start from 4:54. And may I approach you on
Can we move the water bottle so we can see it too?
Of course.
Thank you.
you may come up.
You can.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So you may rotate it so it's right side up.
No, blind. It's the video.
This way.
Yes, I do remember that, Colts. Oh, I'm sure he'll find a way to communicate somehow on his YouTube or social media. He'll probably have someone else do it for him on his behalf. That would be interesting, Parson, but if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure those are older shows, older episodes, I mean. I don't think they make new episodes of that show anymore. Sadly, Dixo, yes, he does. And it's like a cult, in my opinion. Like, they're brainwashed and they believe everything he says. True, PJC. So it looks like this video is just showing the cops handcuffing him. There really doesn't seem to be any real audio, at least understandable audio. Why doesn't the judge understand that Chille is in charge? Well, if Chille really believes in that, he is in for a rude awakening. It really does seem to be an ongoing list, Ziggy, for sure. More and more of these frauditors are getting locked up because police and judges are finally starting to catch on to their freaking nonsense. Like, I said this in my Discord chat earlier, and I'll say it here. It wouldn't surprise me if, like, in a few days or a few weeks from now, if we hear that Chille suffered some type of injury in prison because he ran his mouth off to the wrong person. Because that's basically the type of guy that he is. He is all talk, but he never backs up what he says. I did not hear about that, Colt. I'll have to look into that. Hey, Sean. It's only a matter of time, Ziggy. Hell, I'm surprised he isn't already labeled as a vexatious litigant. It's hard to see what's going on in the video, but I'm gonna guess they're still arresting him and basically going through the standard protocols, like searching him, making sure he doesn't have any weapons and stuff like that. That could be true, Casey, as well, but you never know with him. Sometimes he is just like a loose cannon, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it at 11:35. So officer, did the body worn camera portions that we played, or that I played, fairly and accurately depict your interaction with the defendant on March 15th of 2023?
Yes, it did.
Concerning, I just want to talk with a little bit about what was depicted in the video. In the video from your body worn camera, it shows, the state of your stop with the Hyundai driver. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point prior to you making contact with the defendant, you noticed him kind of recording further.
I don't
away
think
from the
so,
vehicle,
Jim.
correct?
Yes. Yes.
And at that point in time, you didn't have a problem with that. You didn't really approach the defendant yet, correct?
Correct.
It was when he started making contact with the driver, your stopped driver, that you approached him and asked him to back up.
Yes.
And at some point in time in the video, it's recorded, you told him that he is allowed to record, but he just needed to back up.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the reason for you trying to maintain, one, the lack of, no contact with the stopped person, and two, trying to gain distance between the defendant, yourself, and the stop driver?
My first intention is I wasn't trying to delay my traffic stop any longer than it had to be. I was trying to make it as short as possible for the driver. And then the second was for officer safety. What we're taught in the academy is that for a normal human's reaction time with open ground, anything within 21 feet, that suspect would be able to charge an officer without them being able to react in time.
All right. And at that point in time, you were the only officer present, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when he began, or when the defendant failed to obey your command to back up, that's when you decided to engage him?
Yes.
Okay. I have no more questions for this witness. Thank you.
Good morning, officer. How are you doing?
Oh boy, this should be interesting. Let's see what type of questions the defense is going to come up with.
Morning, sir. I'm well. How are you?
Very well. How many feet did you order the defendant to back up specifically?
I never had an opportunity to give him an exact distance.
How far back did you intend to have him back up, even if you didn't express that?
In the background of the video, you could see that there was a parked semi-truck and a light pole. I would have directed him somewhere in that area, which would have been outside the 21 feet.
Your testimony is you never told him an exact distance to back up, correct?
Yes, he never allowed me to.
What do you mean you never allowed you to?
I asked him to back up, and he continued arguing with me, so I could never specify exact distance for him.
But you had time to give him 5 commands to back up, is that correct?
Yes.
Your testimony is he never backed up when you were giving him commands, is that correct?
If he backed up, it may have been inches, but he didn't substantially back up.
And you just reviewed the body worn camera from your chest, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't notice him backing up every time you directed him to back up?
He did not back up.
So you backed up 0 feet, in your opinion? Based on that video?
Not 0 feet.
What was that?
He didn't back up 0 feet. He was moving his feet. As to exactly how far he moved back, I don't know, but it wasn't substantial.
That is a great question, Casey.
What would have been substantial in your opinion, or what do you mean by that?
I would have guided him if he wasn't arguing with me back toward the light pole and the parked semi-truck.
And
Would have been outside of the 21 feet. That was the goal.
So in your opinion, you have the ability, or you would in any traffic stop, ask somebody to look back 21 feet, is that correct?
Yes, for our training,
And what was that training?
that while we're conducting lawful activity, we're allowed a reasonable distance to conduct our activity.
But where do you get that 21 feet number from specifically?
That's taught to us in the academy. It's based on reaction time, normal human reaction time to a threat.
Like, I get the defense attorney is trying to do his job and, represent his client, which in this case is Chille. But I mean, these are basically frauditor type questions. Where did you get the 21 feet from?
Sure.
I mean, bottom line, and sorry to pause it again, but bottom line is, Chille has no case. The video is there, the evidence is there. If he was smart, he would have tried to get a plea deal instead of going to trial.
Your position is anytime you're engaged in any law enforcement activity, you would create a 21 feet perimeter?
Not necessarily, it depends on other environmental factors such as obstacles, barriers.
So your testimony is that every time you conduct a traffic stop, as long as there's no barriers, you would order a pedestrian to back up 21 feet, is that correct?
I would, yes.
What training do you have in regards to the First Amendment?
It's standard academy training.
Can you explain what that entails?
Usually includes a classroom setting, PowerPoint taught by police officer, academy officer.
Do you remember receiving that training specifically?
Yes.
How long ago was that?
When I was first employed about 8 years ago.
Do you have any follow-up training?
Specifically on First Amendment, we've had some follow-up training regarding First Amendment auditors.
Okay, can you explain what that follow-up training was?
The follow-up training was just a refresher.
Very true, Parson. Of course, he couldn't look weak in front of his followers. Not that. Like, I swear, some of these frauditors, yeah, and that's what I'll call them. I was going to say auditors, but they are frauditors. And these frauditors care way too much about their little delusional YouTube channel and looking big and strong for their followers.
On the First Amendment and how the department wants to handle or react to First Amendment auditors.
In that training, did they explain any case law governing how many feet somebody has to move back or anything like that?
Objection, Your Honor, at this point, of relevance, I think it's beyond the scope of, the charges that you are to determine guilt, on at this time.
Can you tell me what's the relevance?
Yes, Your Honor. He detained the defendant after issuing commands back up a particular distance. He's testified he's received training. I should be entitled to cross-examine him about what that training is and how he's coming up with the specific numbers he's using to
I think her objection was with respect to the case law that you're inquiring about.
Your Honor, our position is if he is issuing commands that are contrary to that case law and he's been trained on that case law, then there can't be an obstruction of justice.
So I'm going to sustain the objection and ask you to move along.
Have you had any prior issues enforcing the First Amendment?
No.
Prior to this event taking place, had you heard of Jose DeCastro?
No.
Do you recall when you first heard about First Amendment auditors specifically?
Go for it.
It would have been in the academy.
So that was when you were first trained? You had heard about the auditors back then?
Yes, when we were learning about the First Amendment, they would typically bring up issues that might be a frequently seen thing. And First Amendment auditors are typically the ones that we encounter when there's First Amendment claims against us.
Do you have any belief that First Amendment auditors are likely to be violent?
Objection, relevant.
What's the relevance?
Uh,
I'm only concerned with Mr. DeCastro. Okay.
Your Honor, one of the legal
That is a great question, Dixel, and I believe it was Casey that also asked that same question. It really is mind-boggling, isn't it? Chille claims, or at least he makes it look like, he knows the laws better than everyone else, but here at his trial, he has a lawyer representing him. And then at another upcoming trial, though, supposedly he's going to represent himself because the video we watched before this, where he got arrested in the parking lot at night, he was in court for that on an arraignment yesterday, and he was representing himself for that.
issues that question here is whether or not these commands are reasonable. I think that has to be based upon his past experiences in training.
Sustain.
And the thing here is there is no defense. This is an open and shut case, like 100%.
During this traffic stop in particular, what specific factors led you to believe there might be a danger to officer safety?
Based on his proximity to my driver, based on his demeanor being argumentative, based on his physical demeanor, his veins were popping out of his neck as he was yelling at me.
You could see his veins popping out of his neck from your back where your vehicle is.
When I was at the driver's side window, I could see that, but not in my car.
So when you see him walking out from your car, what is your specific concern regarding officer safety at that point in time?
It's my safety and the safety of the driver. I don't know who this person is. I've never met him before. He could be peaceful, he could be violent, I just don't know. There's so many unknown factors. And I also have a responsibility to protect that driver. If I were in that driver's position, I wouldn't want to be approached by some random person recording me, interviewing me.
Did you ever ask the driver their opinion about whether they wanted him there or not?
No, my first step was,
Relevance.
Sustained.
Me neither, Sherry. And you just know he is dying to say something. I'm actually shocked we haven't had an outburst or anything like that.
Was your primary concern him speaking to the driver or him not backing up?
my primary concern was safety. I don't know if he was armed or what his intention was.
Do you presume someone is armed and dangerous just because they're in public?
I can't rule out that he's unarmed.
But you had no reason to believe he was armed on this occasion?
No, nobody had told me he was armed, and I didn't see any weapons visible, but he was wearing clothing that could have easily concealed weapons.
So when you first came upon the scene, you were in your vehicle typing on your computer, is that correct?
Yes.
And what were you doing in relation to that traffic stop at that point in time?
Conducting a background check to see if her license was valid, to see if she had any criminal history to help me make my decision whether to warn her or issue citation.
You stated your belief that the driver was entitled to privacy.
I did say that.
And what do you mean by that?
Instead of continuing to give him commands to back up, I said something different to try and help him understand. She's really not entitled to privacy, but she's entitled to safety.
So your explanation is that you said that because you were just trying to convince him to back up, not because you believed?
Yes, if I continue to give the command to back up and he's not listening, I can't expect something different to happen if I just keep saying back up.
In your police report, do you recall referencing the fact that he had due notice in your opinion of what you were commanding him to do?
Yes, when I gave him 4 commands to back up, those do notice.
But you'll agree with me that he did not have notice as to the distance you wanted him to back up, is that correct?
That's correct.
Definitely not a guest on this channel, but he is well known. Basically, he is a First Amendment auditor, which is worse, in my opinion, than a sovereign citizen. They basically go around harassing people for their YouTube channel, looking for clicks and views, while trying to claim that they're standing up for their constitutional rights, even though they aren't. It's all about the YouTube money for them. At least that's how I feel about it. But yeah, this guy, he has so many open cases, it's ridiculous. And karma finally caught up with him today.
Approximately how long were you issuing these commands to him before you decided to take it?
Approximately 15, 20 seconds.
And your testimony is you didn't have any time during the entire back and forth to tell him a specific distance to back up to?
Not time, but no opportunity.
How so?
Well, every time I tried to speak with him, he would argue. He wasn't listening at all. So if he's not understanding back up, how would he explain something that was more complex?
Well, what was preventing you from saying back up to a particular location?
First, I would want him to back up, and then if he didn't back up far enough, I would give him an exact location.
But you never did, correct?
No, I never did.
Did the defendant's verbal comments towards you influence what you decided to do that day?
No,
On the video, did you see that the point in time you decided to detain him was specifically after he made an insulting comment towards you?
I know, no worries, my friend.
that wasn't why I chose to detain him. I realized that he wasn't going to back up at that time.
His comments didn't make you angry at him?
No.
I mean, I do gotta give this defense attorney some credit. I mean, he's trying to do his job. Like, he's trying to make an argument for his client, but in reality, there is no logical argument for Chille's actions.
In your review of the video just now, he had both hands in front of him the entire time, is that correct?
No, at one point he reaches toward his back pocket to pull out a second phone.
Did you quickly see that it was a second phone he was going for?
Yes,
Okay. So once you see him produce the second phone in his hands, he's obviously not reaching for a weapon, is that correct?
at that time, no, he wasn't.
What time of day did this occur at?
If I remember correctly, I think it was around 4:30 in the afternoon.
And this was in a broad public place.
Yes,
Does the fact that this occurred in broad daylight in public influence your decision making as far as issuing commands?
And you know, even after he serves this sentence, he still has another public disturbance case open for the video we just watched. Him refusing to leave the parking lot at night and ended up getting arrested by those officers. So his legal troubles are far from over. And hell, I'm pretty sure he has a few warrants in some other states as well. It's all going to catch up with him, and it's finally starting to.
The defendant?
it could. In this particular case, it didn't.
And why is that?
There was nobody around us other than me and the driver and DeCastro.
You testified he swatted your hand away. Is that your testimony today?
Yes, that's the best way I can describe it.
And you saw his arm do this, or you just felt it?
I saw it and felt it.
Do you recall in your police report stating that you did not believe his intent was to harm you?
Yes, I wrote that.
And what is your basis for reaching that conclusion?
Well, he could have been charged with battery on a police officer, which would have been more severe. But I didn't think his intent was to hurt me, so I didn't charge him with that.
You testified today that one of the things you were concerned about was him not going over to your vehicle. Is that true?
Yes,
Will you agree with me that he actually did walk over to your vehicle at some point during the interaction?
yes, but it wasn't reasonable, the amount of time it took him.
What would be a reasonable amount of time?
Asking him to step in front of my car and then doing so immediately.
And how fast is it immediately?
This isn't based off of time, my response, it's just based off of interaction. I had to tell him he was detained multiple times. And I made it clear what he was detained for. I said he was detained for obstructing. And I gave him several commands to step in front of my car. So I would think a reasonable person would walk over to my car, and then we'd have a conversation there.
And how specifically did his presence obstruct your ability to complete the traffic?
Yes, the previous video we watched, not the one he's on trial for here, but that other video, there was a fatal car accident down that road, which is why so many cops were there.
Traffic stop.
Again, I don't know what his intention is. I don't know if he's armed. All I saw was him recording, which, and I had no issue with. I told him I had no issue with. At some point in time, if I were to issue citation to the driver, my focus would be on the driver and what's inside her car. At that point, I hadn't pulled her out. I hadn't pat her down. I don't know if she has any weapons in the car or what her intent was, if there was anything underlying. So my intention on having DeCastro back up was so that I didn't have split attention. He was too close for me to have split attention.
So what are the things you stated that you were concerned about, I guess, from a safety point of view, was that he didn't identify himself? Is that true?
No, I didn't care about his identity until I had him detained.
Okay. At any point during the, I guess, detention of the defendant, did you pat him down to determine he didn't have any weapons?
I did.
Okay, and when was that during the duration of the interaction?
That was immediately after handcuffing.
Okay, did you discover any weapons on him?
No, I did not.
From your police car, while he's walking up, you can essentially have a complete view of his movements and what he's doing at that point in time.
Jim, I could never imagine living my life as either a sovereign citizen or a frauditor. They're just so ridiculous. Both of them. Frauditors, like I said earlier, are just worse in my opinion because they go out trying to actively harass people. At least sovereign citizens are just idiots that don't know the law. But it's like, I can't imagine, all the jail time, fees, court costs, lawyers' fees, and everything else that comes with being a sovereign citizen and frauditor. Life is too short for all that, and it's just not worth it.
Yes.
And you never saw him during that time period before you got out of your car and reached for any weapons or anything like that?
No.
Were there other individuals around the traffic stop other than the defendant and the driver?
Not that I can remember.
Do you recall anyone walking through the scene and asking about the restaurant next door?
I don't remember that.
But your testimony is if there was someone else on the video, you would have been ordering that person to back up 21 feet?
I would have first asked them to back up, and most people do. And then if they did not comply, then I would give them a specific area to back up to.
You ordered him not to speak to the driver, is that correct?
Yes, well, I remember asking to back up. I don't remember if I specifically asked him not to speak to the driver. I think I may have said, don't talk to her, or something to that effect.
Did he speak to her before you got out of your patrol vehicle or afterwards?
Before. I saw DeCastro filming. I stayed in my vehicle and continued my business. Then when I saw him speaking to the driver, that's when I exited.
Thank you, Simon Mitchner, for the £5 super chat. 180 days in jail, huh? So with good behavior, he'll be out in 220. Exactly, my friend. And it's great to see you, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for your support.
Did you see him speak to the driver after you exited the vehicle at any point?
I don't remember if he spoke to the driver after I exited.
At any point, did you hear specifically what he may have said to the driver?
No, I was too far away and it was beneath.
Is your position that anytime you're engaged in a traffic stop, nobody can speak to the driver?
They can speak to them at a reasonable distance.
And is that 21 feet?
It could be shorter, it could be longer. It, again, depends on the environment, totality, the circumstances.
Do you
I
think
don't
you
know,
can
Greg.
easily verbally communicate 21 feet?
I mean, I've heard about Riot Girl, and I still think deep down she's still a frauditor. At some point, she'll likely go back to that. I just have this feeling.
No, not without shouting.
Did at some point the defendant inform you that he was a member of the press?
He did.
Did that influence any of the orders you chose to give or not give to the defendant?
No, it doesn't matter.
No, because first of all, he is not the press. And two, even if he was the press, like I said earlier, the press still has to follow the laws. Being pressed doesn't matter.
Why does it not? What is your basis of that statement, I guess?
Media, reporters, and standard citizens, they treat them all the same.
Flat earthers, I get a kick out of those people. They're like borderline almost sovereign citizens. Like, but in my opinion, like really, who cares if the earth is flat? It's not, but I'm just saying, like, their arguments are ridiculous, but at least they're not harming anyone like softsuits and frauditors. They can believe in whatever they want.
So you becoming aware that somebody is a member of the press does not affect your decision-making in reference to your First Amendment training?
No, and how was I to know that he was a member of the press? Whenever I interact with members of the press, they usually identify what station they're with or a group that they're with. They usually have some sort of identification, name badge, and we have a good relationship with press out here. They don't approach us the way that DeCastro did.
Not to my knowledge, Colts. At least I don't. Maybe previously, but I don't believe he currently is.
Are you familiar with the difference between traditional press or independent media?
Yes, but again, independent media would approach us more respectfully than DeCastro.
Is your opinion that traditional media has different rights than new media, independent media?
Objection, Your Honor. At this point, I think we're well beyond the scope of.
Sustained.
Thank you.
And court's indulgence, I apologize. So your testimony is, if I recall correctly, that you received First Amendment training when you initially went through your officer training.
Yes.
And then you received one follow-up after that.
I can't, no, it was more than one. I don't know exactly how many. Typically that training is annual.
And your testimony, just to reiterate, this is the first time you've experienced a First Amendment issue of this nature in your career?
Objection, I believe I objected to that question when it was posed as a violent encounter and it was sustained. And I also objected on the grounds of relevance. As the court indicated, what we're concerned about is his interaction with the defendant specifically. And so I object.
Sustained, I'm only concerned about this interaction.
Do you recall during your interactions with the defendant that you told him that you believed First Amendment auditors often pull out guns and shoot people?
I didn't say that they often do that.
Do you recall what you said?
I don't. I would have said that he was a stranger to me and that officers get ambushed all the time. It could have been a First Amendment auditor. It could have been a regular citizen. It could have been a cook from one of the places nearby. I wouldn't have specifically said that First Amendment auditors are at higher risk.
And again, just to reiterate, your testimony is that
Objection, I mean, anytime it's prefaced as just to reiterate, I feel like I should object on an asked and answered ground. And I'm not, just to hear it, but it just sounds like a reiteration of the questions that have been previously asked. So my objection is asked and answered.
Thank you, Dixo, for being a member now for 6 months. Can't wait to join the weekly stream soon. Thank you, my friend. And if some of you guys are new to these streams, just want to let you know that this is basically a rare night stream. I don't do these often, but I do stream typically every Monday and Wednesday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So hopefully you'll be able to join us all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Wednesday live stream.
I'm going to ask this question before I rule into objection.
again, I'm just trying to clarify because I think this point was ambiguous, but do you recall the defendant telling you that he was a member of the press during the interaction?
Ask and answer.
Sustained.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You redirect?
No, thank you.
Thank you, officer. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Exactly, Casey.
Does the state rest?
At this point, we do.
Does the defense have any witnesses?
Your Honor, I call Jose DeCastro.
Oh boy, I didn't know he was going to testify. Jose DeCastro to the stand. Here we go. This should be interesting.
Raise your right hand to be sworn by the court. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please be seated.
Mr. DeCastro, before you testify, I'm obligated to inform you that you have the right to testify in this proceeding, but you also have the right to remain silent. And should you choose to remain silent, I may not hold that against you in making my decision. Do you understand that?
I do.
Do you still wish to testify?
Yes, I do.
All right, please go ahead.
You have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I do.
Can you give some insight into what that channel was about?
Objection, relevance.
What's the relevance?
Your Honor, the relevance is that we're presenting a First Amendment defense and the defendant is a member of the press. There's different standards for First Amendment.
No, he
rulings where
isn't.
There's public policy at issue.
All right, so, I gave credit to this defense attorney earlier. He's doing his job, trying to defend his client. But for him to say that Chille DeCastro is a member of the press, hell no. That's like saying right now, me streaming, I'm the press. No, I'm not. That's not how any of this works. Holy crap.
He can't give insight into that.
I'm gonna allow it for a bit and see where it goes.
Yes, I do have I do have a YouTube channel, and the reason I have a YouTube channel is because of how many cops kill people every year, how many cops hurt, maim, torture, rape, and kill people every single year. It's such an epidemic that the rest of the world, I get thousands of emails saying, only in America does this happen. I started filming cops because when I was cheated in 2002.
Objection at this point, relevance,
Well, this is the reason I'm a member of the press.
this narrative.
So can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. What type of films do you make for your YouTube channel?
I only film police in their official capacity. I'm known across the country and across the world.
And why do you engage in that type of filming?
So I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Need to direct your questions about the incident in question.
The reason I was filming Mr. Vork that day.
Objection, Your Honor. Oh, sorry.
So
There wasn't a question posed, so.
Oh, I-
I'm not sure what he was-
Mr. DeCastro, on dating question, why did you approach that vehicle?
I was filming that cop because that's what I do for a living. I am a member of the press. And I invoked my right to be press. I always invoke my right to be press within the first 10 seconds of engaging with police. And I have thousands of videos that prove this.
So this is how you make money.
This is not how specifically I make money. I make money from selling legal documents to people.
Okay.
100% bullshit right there. Excuse my language, but that is just BS. Tell the court how you make money off the YouTube ads and, let's see, the super chats, the memberships. Come on, man. Don't lie to the court. Every freaking creator makes money off ads, super chats, memberships and whatever. You're not making money just by selling your freaking stupid trifolds. Like, wow.
Do you recall the officer telling you to back up?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do after he told you to back up?
I took a couple steps back. I just showed him that I was willing to back up a little bit. However, if I may, in Arizona, they created a 10-foot wall.
Objection, relevance, we're not in Arizona, it's the state of Nevada.
So I'm gonna allow it because I think that goes to why he kept saying 10 feet in the video, even though I will take judicial notice that you're not in the state of Arizona, you're in the state of Nevada.
Well, a federal judge struck it down, Your Honor, and
Stop. Can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. Approximately how many feet did you back up?
I backed up a foot or two. I was at least 10 feet away from that car that the driver was pulled over in.
And when you spoke to the driver, what did you say?
Just after she was okay. The reason I film police is because they abuse people so often.
Do you recall the officer telling you not to speak with the driver?
Yes,
And did you make any statements to the driver after that command was given?
absolutely not.
Did the officer ever give you a specific distance to back up to?
No, he didn't.
If he did,
Hey,
would you
Gary.
comply with that?
Sure.
Did you believe you were complying with the officer's commands?
100%. I also informed him I'm a member of the press. I'm a constitutional law scholar, that this is what I do.
Do you recall the officer explaining to you why he decided to arrest you?
There's several parts to the reason why he said he was going to arrest me. He said he was going to arrest me because I wouldn't turn my head a certain direction. If I didn't turn and face the car with my head, that he would place me under arrest instead of just giving me a ticket.
Do you recall him explaining why he decided to detain you before he arrested you?
He decided to obtain me because he said I was obstructing, which from my understanding is a physical act where I would have to get in the way. He said that the driver deserved privacy. I believe my First Amendment rights are not up for feelings.
Did he explain to you that the basis of your detention was related primarily to the issue of privacy or the issue of you backing up?
Well, I think from the officer's testimony, we can see that he's scared of the driver, scared of me, scared of everything. They teach them to be afraid of everything. So I had 2 cameras out. It's identified as a member of the press. I'm sorry, repeat the question. I want to get it specific for the record.
Sure. The question was, did the officer explain to you that the basis of your detention was because of you not backing up or because of the privacy issue of the driver?
It was both. He said that, he told me to back up. I backed up a little bit. Then he said, she deserves privacy. And then I told him to go get in your car, little doggy, and write your ticket. And at that point, his face turned beet red and his veins in his neck stuck out because we were over 20 feet away. And you had to holler to hear each other because the wind was probably 30 miles an hour.
Did you at any point attempt to hit any of the officers involved?
No, absolutely not.
Did you intentionally swat any of the officers?
Absolutely not. He was giving me unlawful commands. I should not have been detained after identified as a member of the press. If he ever reached a hand out towards me, I wrestle and teach MMA and I have 30 years.
I swear, on the cross-exam, if they cross-examine him, I really hope they ask him, why does being a member of the press, even though you're not, Chille, but why does that give you the right to break the law? That's what I want to know.
So it's just a natural reaction as I'm retreating from somebody. If I may have put my hand up, as he said, as he testified himself, I certainly am a law-abiding citizen. I don't break the law. So I would not have tried to assault an officer under any circumstances.
Is it possible that during the interaction, there was inadvertent contact between you and the officer?
Sure, he decided to go hands-on with me when he was giving me unlawful commands. And there was absolutely no reason for it. I was willing to comply with anything he asked within reason, because I don't want to have a fist fight with another man on the street.
Do you recall the officer ordering you to go to his patrol vehicle?
I do.
And what did you do in response to that?
Initially, I told him no, but then when he began to get physical with me and start to grab me and touch me, I said, okay, I'll go over to your car. His car was 35 feet away. I then led him to his car. It's on video, you can see it. I would walk right up to his car, and then he insisted still on grabbing me. After he saw me pull out an additional phone, which that's what press people do. We have lots of cameras on us.
And did you inform the officer that you were a member of the press?
Oh, several times.
Yes, this is a bench trial. At first, I thought for some reason it was a jury trial, but it does turn out this indeed is a bench trial.
It's in the transcripts. I've transcribed them myself several times. I told him I'm a member of the press.
I can't
Did you
believe
explain to the officer that you have a background in constitutional law?
Yes,
I really just can't believe this is the defense that they're putting up, that this is the defense they're arguing. Oh, so
I'm a
ridiculous.
constitutional law scholar, which was a moniker given to me by other people who are also, they have their own channels, their own press. And that's what some other lawyers on another channel called me 3 years ago. And I since adapted the moniker.
So, in Chille DeCastro's little mind, in his world, he thinks I'm the press right now. Boy, freaking delusional.
And just to get some, further background, were you looking for police to report on this particular day?
No, there's the cops hide on the side of the road to pull people over. It's pretty regular in our country. I was just in the parking lot there. I saw that Mr. Bork had somebody pulled over, concerned for her safety. I began to film.
And why do you think that law enforcement traffic stops are relevant to the public?
That's where most people get killed.
Objection relevance. Stating that question, who's his right?
Stating.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
State.
I have no questions for this witness.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Well, that's a shame. No cross exam. But honestly, that just proves right there how confident the prosecution is. They don't need to question this jackass. They already know they have this case in the books.
This is been trust.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the argument by the state.
Your Honor, the state asks you to find the defendant guilty of both the obstructing a public officer as well as resisting a public officer charged against him. The video very adequately portrays, and I don't think it's disputed by the defendant, what the context was of the interaction with the officer. I would venture to say that had the defendant just complied with the original order to not engage with the driver and to back up, we wouldn't be here. He wouldn't have found himself further engaging with Officer Ward. This is not a First Amendment issue. As you heard over and over and over again on video, Officer Ward did not have a problem with the defendant recording. It's not a First Amendment issue. It's an officer safety issue. Here, you have an officer who conducted a lawful traffic stop. You saw the nature of the stop. There was no animosity between the officer and the driver. It was rather peaceful. They were engaged, banter back and forth. He would have, as he testified, he was trying to determine whether he was going to cite her or let her go with a warning. And then you have an individual, the defendant, introduce himself to a situation. Traffic stops, Your Honor, are inherently dangerous, particularly in crowded parking lots. I guess anywhere, I would venture to say. This officer was reasonable in thinking that anyone who would approach in the manner that the defendant approached his scene would have a reason to fear for his safety, or at least be suspicious of this individual's motives coming in. The officer had no problem with the recording. The officer had no problem with the defendant observing. It was when he inserted himself into this lawful detention that was occurring with the Hyundai driver that the officer turned his attention onto the defendant. This is not a First Amendment issue. This is an individual who took what he perceived to be his rights.
I highly doubt it, PJC. Like, do we even know this is an actual lawyer he actually paid for, or is this just like a court-appointed public defender?
Too far. The officer was well within his right, as well as acting reasonably when he asked him to back up. That 21-foot rule, it's appropriate. He said that was the training that they received in terms of the distance that's allowed for someone who needs to do them harm. It's a threat assessment. We don't know when the defendant approached whether he had a gun concealed, whether he had a knife concealed, whether he had other weapons. And you'll hear multiple times in the video, Officer Bork yelling, "Stop reaching, stop reaching." This is an unknown.
Hey, Sydney.
When defense counsel asked Officer Bork all of these questions about how it is that you do this, and Officer Bork kept responding, it depends on the situation, it depends on the totality of the circumstances. Here was an officer acting alone, individually, engaged one-to-one with a driver. He had no problem with. You insert another individual who enters the scene in the manner that the defendant did. And now this officer's attention is going to be divided. He had every reason to fear for his safety as well as that of the driver. Again, if he had just complied with the officer's commands or demands to back up, and a lot was made about, hey, he didn't have an opportunity to tell the defendant exactly how far back. As the officer testified, even just with the, hey, back up, the defendant didn't back up, not willingly. That's why the officer had to continue to engage with him and force him into the situation. Had he complied, he would not have been charged with obstruction. Had he complied initially, he would not have been charged with the resisting. The officer was, you are going to have to assess credibility. There's nothing in the video or Officer Bork's testimony that would cause the court to question his veracity or his intention for that matter. He was very honest in that he didn't believe the defendant wasn't trying to harm him necessarily with the SWAT. That's why the defendant wasn't charged with the battery on a protected person or police officer. But that SWAT, Your Honor, I would argue, was meant to resist At that point in time, the officer was trying to detain him and subsequently arrest him on the obstruction, as depicted in the video. And so at this point, I think we proved by, beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant did hinder, Officer Borth's investigation, and detention of the Hyundai driver, and that he resisted, the officer's, arrest and, or attempt to arrest him. And
Thank you, Ziggy, for the facts, for being a member now for 5 months. Wait for other cases to cite Nevada versus DeCastro. Indeed, that will be interesting, because I'm sure it's going to happen. Hey, Patrick Dollinger, great to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Hope you're doing good as well.
so we would ask
We're getting towards the end here.
that you find the defendant guilty of both.
Thank you. Ben?
Yes, Your Honor. So first of all, you cannot obstruct an unlawful order.
Thanks,
I disagree
Dixo.
with the state that this is not a First Amendment issue. The First Amendment in this context actually has two parts. There's the filming and the right to film within a reasonable distance. The case law in all the federal circuits, Your Honor, there's no 21 feet rule that's been approved by any court of which I'm aware. That there is a 10-foot rule. That seems to be the rule that is applied by most of the federal circuits in interpreting the First Amendment. I submitted a bench brief that kind of goes through that issue.
Thank you, Dixo, for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. And welcome to all the new members. Let's see. Sherry, Alanize, Erica's Adventures, Petsco, Scriptcat, Jet Brown, Jordan K, Helen J, I'm a man, and welcome to everyone. And thank you again, Dixel, for your support. I appreciate it.
I had a chance to review that.
I don't have that. When did you submit it?
It was submitted yesterday, Your Honor.
I mean, at this point, I would move to strike because it's untimely, but I got it this morning when I walked into court.
Go ahead.
So the officer's testimony that there's essentially this 21-foot distance where anybody can charge an officer and cause physical harm to an officer. If that is applied universally, Your Honor, it totally diminishes and violates the First Amendment. That is, as the officer testified, a 21-foot radius that he can attempt to impose. I believe his testimony was anytime there's not an obstacle between a person and somebody that law enforcement is interacting with. And that's just not what the law requires, Your Honor. The First Amendment gives their media, new media, old media, it gives individuals the right to film government agents. There's no dispute that that's the requirement. And if the officer is applying this 21-foot circumference to all law enforcement interactions, he's effectively eliminated the ability to film law enforcement going about their duties. The commands to not talk to the driver are also not based on any actual legal justification. There's no right to privacy in public, whether you're engaged with law enforcement or not. There's no requirements or no.
Hey, Tony Brown, and I 100% agree.
You can't interact with drivers that are interacting with law enforcement. So what's taken place here, Your Honor, is that this officer has taken it upon himself to essentially act as the legislature and created these rules that have no basis in any law and in fact are contrary to the First Amendment. Again, you can't obstruct an unlawful demand, so there is no obstruction of justice here. Resisting arrest, Your Honor, the court can see the video. essentially what happened is he walked over to the front of the vehicle. There was some dispute about why he was being detained. That was discussed. The case law in that area, Your Honor, is that if it's an unlawful arrest, which it was in this case because they're essentially arresting him for violating these unlawful orders that they're pronouncing. Again, the case law is you can passively resist an unlawful arrest, and that's all that occurred. Thank you.
All right, Mr. DeCastro, please stand.
Here we go, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Problem with the argument that your attorney makes is it completely fails to consider the safety of the officer and the safety of the driver. The officer doesn't know who you are, and the driver doesn't know who you are. And you don't have any right to interfere with that officer doing his investigation and deciding if he wants to issue a ticket to this driver. And you also don't have any business approaching the driver. The driver didn't ask you for help. The driver didn't say, help, help, you know. You didn't see an altercation happening between the officer and this driver. The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film, it's fine, all right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job.
Well, Dick, so he ain't going out of the courthouse, at least the way he thinks he will be.
You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer. So I'd like to hear from the state and then your attorney prior to sentencing.
Your Honor, in terms of sentencing, I would ask that our defendant enter and complete an impulse control class. I would ask that the court levy a $500 fine or the equivalent in community service. I would ask that the defendant be ordered to stay out of trouble for the pendency of the case. And I would ask for a 90-day suspended sentence. And that's on as to each count to one concurrent. That's our request.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I'm asking the court to sentence the defendant to credit for time served for these offenses. Even if the court concludes, and the court did conclude that he didn't have the right to do what he did, I think the court can see that he sincerely believed that he had the right to do so. That's based on his past experiences and the training he's received in reference to the First Amendment. I don't think there was any intent from the defendant to engage in any wrongdoing in this case, Your Honor. And that being the case, especially because of the public policy interests at issue.
So when you say he doesn't wish to engage in any wrongdoing, it seems to me from observing him in the video that he wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States.
This judge is spot on. I gotta give a round of applause to her. This is beautiful.
Please stand up, sir. Are you finished with your request for credit for time served?
I would just emphasize, Your Honor, that the defendant testified and he sincerely believes that he is providing a public service when he reviews and films these incidents. I understand the court may have a different view of that, but when we're talking about First Amendment public policy issues such as supervising people involved in government, I think that is something the court can take into consideration, not trying to show any effect on that. I'll spit on it, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. DeCastro, please stand. I hereby sentence you to 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 1, 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 2, to run consecutive for a total of 180 days in custody. Thank you. Oh,
Wonderful.
no, we're gonna start right now.
There goes the torture cups.
This is a travesty of justice. Unbelievable.
And you know what? I will drink to that. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. What a beautiful moment.
I don't like police. Put you in jail for half a year, sir. How long have I been in the Just get it in the car. Yeah, it's in the church. Can I get my keys up? My keys are in the garage. They're inside my, can you enjoy? No, the briefcase. Yeah. I'll get your stuff. Many man's on top of place on it. Get a hold of my assistant, James.
And off to the dungeon Chille goes. That was freaking awesome. Gotta love happy endings. Exactly, Matthew. Boy. Gotta wonder, like, right now he's sitting in the dungeon, wondering what he's doing with his life. Gotta be going. He has to be wondering in his mind what went wrong. That was freaking excellent. And I'm glad the judge didn't go easy on him. And you know, this possibly could maybe help him see the error in his ways, but I 99.9% highly doubt it will. Boy, that was freaking awesome. And I was doing the math, and if the math I did was correct, he's not going to be getting out of jail until at least September 14th to be exact. So, yeah, I was about to say he can appeal it. And honestly, I kind of doubt that he's going to do the full 180 days, but still, hopefully he does a decent amount of jail time. September 15th. Oh, I was close. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Plus, he can always appeal it. That's the thing. But boy, just seeing him go away in cuffs, totally worth it. So worth it, in my opinion. Boy. My favorite part was at the beginning when he called the officer who took his phone a pig right in front of the judge. I think that eventually what did him in before the case even started. I think that had a big part of it too. I really do, because he probably most likely would have gotten a suspended sentence, no jail time, if he didn't run his mouth off in the courtroom. But boy, like, some idiots cannot keep their mouth shut, and that's the case with Chille. All right, everyone. Yeah, Dixo, I am looking forward to that mugshot. Hopefully, it will be published soon. So yeah, this is where we're gonna wrap up tonight's stream. That was beyond awesome. Seriously, that was so worth coming on and streaming. And I do want to give one more shout out to everyone who contributed and renewed their memberships and stuff like that. So real quick, thank you again to JP Meyer for being a member for 8 months. Thanks to Sean Stevenson for being a member for 9 months. Thank you to Colt Stonewall for renewing his membership. Thank you to Casey for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you to Rockhopper392 for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you to Son for the great. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that at least decently. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Thanks to PJC for being a member now for 9 months. Thank you to Casey for the additional 5 gifted memberships, which totals at 10. Thank you to Dick So Big for the $20 super chat. Thanks to Simon Mitchner for the £5 super chat. Thank you to Dixo for the 6-month being a member for 6 months. Thank you to Ziggy for being a member for 5 months. And thank you to Dixo again for the 10 gifted memberships. And as always, I want to thank all of you. We had, for a rare Tuesday night stream, we had an excellent turnout. I think we had about 62 viewers at one point, concurrent viewers, which is honestly great for this channel. And thank you, all of you, for all of your support. Just going to go through the chat one last time. I think I have a new computer background. I think many people do, Casey. And yeah, I do plan on streaming tomorrow at the normal time, 10 a.m. Eastern. So I hope you'll be able to join me for that. I have some Sovereign Citizen videos planned for tomorrow. Feels like it's been a while since we've done soft sits on the live streams. And yeah, thank you all for being here, supporting the channel, liking the videos. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'll be on the Discord server for a little bit later tonight. Might have a few more drinks, so if you're not a member of the Discord and want to hang out and chat, please feel free to join. It's totally free to join. Everyone is welcome. Just put the bot command for the Discord link in the chat. And yeah. Let's see, Jim. I think might have a video that you sent me. I'll have to look at the list and verify that. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me for tonight, everyone. Hope everyone has a great night. And as always, I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone, and have a great night.